here's our hydraulic pump that's full of water. Worked. Look at that. Here's our steering wheel. And here's our hydraulic pump that's full of water. There it goes. Jeez. Here's our keyway. Yep. So we pulled the hydraulic pump off for the Helm. It wasn't working. It was seized up. It will not rotate. When I pulled the lines off, they had water in them. When I looked in the fill port, I could see rust. I'm hoping that we can rebuild this thing. We'll see. Hoping that the components in here aren't totally shot and past repair, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, the last shot where I saw a video of a guy, he had the pump out and he just put a center punch in the hole right here on the top, so you don't mess your threads up, and then had it suspended and smacked it with a hammer and it dropped it out instead of using a pulley puller. So just gonna work on getting this thing cleaned up and see what happens. We got our keyway out and on the next piece. On the back side of your power steering pump, there's 6 screws holding the housing in place. We had number 4 Allen bolts. Yeah, rust on it. The back of the housing is labeled port and starboard. The hoses are not. I put some tape on the hoses and labeled them before I pulled them off, so I knew which one goes where. Don't want to be turning the boat to the left and steer to the right. That'd be confusing. Did a first look at that's not really that great, is it? I don't think this needs to come off, but we can check and see. There we go. Look at all that carnage. That is not good. There's our pump. There's our pistons. They feel okay. They just need to... The bearing in here is completely exploded. Let's see if I can... Look at that. There's our bearing in there. There's our bearing race. So this bearing is completely toasted. Shattered in half. Yummy. Look at that. Jeez Louise. There's hey. Go. There's our problem. This bearing has been completely split. So here we are. Here's the bottom or top. Here's the ball bearing framing. Just toasted. Got some BBs to use in a slingshot, but this will come out of here. So this is a, I'm not wanting to take this all the way apart yet. That's a pressure fit. I'm going to, these just pop off. They don't look bad. I think, let's see if I can clean one of these off. See how it looks. Let's see here. I think the hydraulic fluid mixed in with this water is what saved. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. A little cleaning up. Drop it in my carburetor cleaner bucket and it'll be good to go. But put this back. I think we'll be able to clean them out though. There's the plunger. So let's go ahead and just get that junk out of there. Yeah, there's one of our plungers. One. Video I watched, guy said to put these in the back into the same positions. Kids. It feels good. And we're gonna go ahead and get all this lovely, just majority of this junk out of here. And man, I think we can rebuild it though. Well, more to come. That's what we got for today. Just gonna get this cleaned up and then we'll dive more into it in the next part of this video when I get the rebuild kit. See ya. Well, got some bad news. We looked into getting replacement bearings for the Helm pump. Called SeaStar directly, and their name is now Dometic. The guy on the phone over there was a real peach. I'll tell you that. If you have to call those people, their customer service is awful. Guy was kind of rude. I asked him if they had bearings for these, and he just kind of mockingly told me they don't sell bearings for 25-year-old Helm pumps, and nobody's going to touch a 25-year-old pump. And let him know, like, man, I'm trying to rebuild it myself. I'm not having somebody do it. And nothing's wrong with this thing. It needs new bearings, and do you sell bearings or not? And after a lovely conversation, found out they only sell reseal kits for these. They do not sell bearing kits. And it's toasted. I'm hanging on to this one just in case something comes up or anybody comments saying they know where to get bearings for these, but I need to replace all the bearings in here, ball bearings and springs, everything. And the rebuild kits only come with O-rings and seals. So, this is the old pump and it's shot. We got all of our new stuff. Got the, went to West Marine on Friday, got the fill hose, Got the piston reseal kit. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the seals on the outboard just for peace of mind. We've got, I didn't need it, but I'm gonna be flushing the system out since it had water in it. Got 2 quarts of SeaStar hydraulic fluid. And the expensive part, a new Helm pump. This was not cheap. I brought my old Helm pump with me to West Marine to make sure I got the right one. $713.99 was the price for the new Helm pump, which is a bummer because I feel like that one can be rebuilt, but since there's no bearings, and after some digging online, I couldn't really find anything about repacking this thing with new bearings. So we have a new Helm pump, and here it is. The new SeaStar Helm pump. We got the HS5157 1.7 cubic inch, which matches the specs on that. 1000 PSI max, and we're gonna get this installed today and bleed the lines. Here we go. All right, let's get this this thing ready to throw on the boat. Here are the new fittings. Here they go on here for the stern and or the starboard and port hose lines. Got starboard and port inlets. They're with I have an Allen fitting. It's a 3/16 Allen key. Pull these out. Get your new hose fittings. O-ring side goes on the hole. 5/8 wrench. Snug it up. I want my lines facing down, so you loosen the nut up, you can spin your fitting, and then you can push your nut back, and then tighten it up. And now we have 9 degrees going down. That's it. There's your Helm pump. Now, let's get on the boat. Your fill port goes up. There we go. 7/16 deep socket. Provided washers. Provided nuts. Go on the inside and mount it up. All right, got it on. Gonna grab my hoses. I labeled them port and starboard when I took them off, just because they're not labeled here. So make sure you label. I put some tape on here, put a P for port, S for starboard, put them back in the same position. So that way we're not going left to go right and right to go left. So here we go. Now that I have the hose on here, I'm going to adjust it a little bit and loosen up the fitting where it comes up and not such a straight shot. I'll do that now. All right, that's on. The lines are hooked up. So what y'all didn't see yesterday, I had my wife in here with a jug, and I had these two hoses sitting in the jug because the water was in the Helm pump here in these lines. I went back to the outboard and I manually rotated it to push any excess water fluid out and into that jug. So now whenever we go to bleed the back, I'm pulling this apart too. Like I said, I'm gonna replace that too. And now there should be no water in here. We're gonna replace the fluid, get the steering wheel on, and go from there. But here we are. Let's get the steering wheel put on and move on. So, start. Here's our old nut. Oops, there goes the new one. Here's our new one. Our Woodruff key is right here, and there's our keyway slot. I'm gonna go shoot some stuff in here and clean this up real quick. Went and hit the inside with some quick 220 grit sandpaper. Spray some deep creep on here. Lubed it up, sit it on, see what happens. Junk. All right, there's that. 15/16 nut, deep socket. We're going to seat the steering wheel down. You can see there, you got a pretty good sized gap. We're going to tighten this nut down and seat it on. All right, as tight as it goes. Didn't cover up the keyway all the way, but I'm going to cinch it down and get one good, nice. All right, one more. There we go. Got that Woodruff key almost covered up all the way. See it right there in that gap. Barely. If you can or not. And it's underneath the collar. You can't really see it. Let's see. Try and there, see that. It's right there. There's our Woodruff key, and we almost got it seated on there all the way, but that's really tight. I'm not gonna go more than that. And we got a steering wheel now. There we go. Now it's time to put the cap back on. Apply the screwdriver. Okay, we have a steering wheel now. That's going to conclude the video for your Helm pump. So the next part, we're going to replace the seals on the piston. See you next time.